with all the stars they have all NBA players in the starting lineup. They lost to Nigeria 90-87. This was in Vegas. It was the first time a team from Africa has beaten Team USA in a game, exhibition, or otherwise. They were 28.5-point favorites, according to Caesars Sportsbook by William Hill. They lose the game. They actually had a lead in this thing. It was pretty ugly. I think they beat Nigeria by like 83 points the last time they played them. Coach Popovich, who was the head coach of USA Basketball, he had this reaction to the loss.
The Nigerian team played very physically. That's a talented group of players. That's not a bunch of people off the street playing basketball. You need to understand that every year teams are better and better, and every year 1 or 2 or 3 more NBA players are on their teams. They're a quality team. Mike's done a great job with them, and they're as athletic as anybody and very physical, and they've been practicing for 3 weeks. But I don't think anyone should act, nor will we act, like this is the end of the world. It's about everybody else deserves a lot of credit, and we have to play our ass off.
Jay, is the world catching up?
I mean, the world has been catching up. I don't know if the world is at the point, Alan, that it's better than USA basketball. And I know this is an exhibition game, and I give Nigeria all the credit in the world. I love seeing Mike Brown and his team accomplish this. Guys like Precious Achiuwa, who's an NBA basketball player, they have been playing together. I think the styles in which you play FIBA basketball from somebody who's played it are drastically different. It's way more of a team-oriented sport. What I mean by that, it's not isolation basketball. And I think that's going to take some adjusting for the USA basketball team. Look, talent-wise, nobody has the talent that USA basketball has. But team-wise, in the continuity in which they play, that's something USA basketball doesn't have yet.
Key, that's been the issue. And when we've had these past teams that have let us down, it is because they don't play as a team. Do you have any concern at all for these Olympics?
I probably don't. Jay knows more about the international teams more so than I do. But I don't come on, man.
You're throwing a group
Seriously?
of stars together. But how about this, Jay, quickly? In a season like this where we've had very short breaks, where you've had the compressed season, maybe they just don't have time to get together as a unit, as a team. Maybe they get beat by other teams.
Well, that's what happens, Alan. You got Dame that says, hey, look, I wanted to win. We didn't win in the playoffs, so now I want to get my mind off the offseason. I want to go play. I mean, how are Dame and KD and Jason Tatum and Bam supposed to build any continuity? But the problem is you have the star power. And when you have names like that, that's how.
As we know, the Olympics will be later this summer, and we were talking about the women's team and some roster issues there, but the men's team roster for basketball is already set as well. And as we talked about before the break, remember when the Redeem team got together, and it was all of the stars all played. Now, this year you're not going to get all the stars, mainly because of how late the season's ending. So some guys said, no. But you still have some big names on this roster. And so we were just wondering, the Redeem team, out of it came the Miami Heat and LeBron, Wade, and Chris Bosh. What super team out of this roster could we see maybe emerging where they spend some time together in Tokyo and say, hey, let's team up. Let's put something together here. So the roster I'll read quickly to you, and then we'll come up with who we think could team up. Kevin Durant, Damian Lillard, Devin Booker, Jason Tatum, Bradley Beal, Chris Middleton, Zach LaVine, Bam Adebayo, Draymond Green, Drew Holiday, Kevin Love, Jeremy Grant. So there's your roster. Give me 2 guys, Jay, that you could see where one of them says, let's team up and let's become the next super team. Who would it be? Who would you like to see do that?
Come on, man. This is easy. This is Dame and Zach LaVine in Chicago. Dame and Zach LaVine, one of the most lethal backcourts that could ever exist. Dame is already used to playing with another guard. He's been doing it. He's used to sharing the ball responsibilities with C.J. McCollum. And Alan, who's the parent? Who is Zach LaVine with now in the backcourt?
Is it
exactly? You have to think about it. It's Kobe White.
Kobe White, right? I
But you have to think about
fast enough.
Yeah, you have to. But that's exactly my point. You have to think about it like, well, I don't know who he is.
Well,
that's exactly my point.
Second year, yeah.
Put these dudes together. Oh my goodness, it will be a problem for anybody. You're not happy about it?
No.
Cool.
I think for Chicago, that franchise, you need to give it a lift, right? That franchise got to get back to an elite level too, and that certainly would do it. Boy, I'll tell you what, that city would love a guy like Dame Lillard.
Oh.
Love him.
Oh,
Yeah,
Scoring guards key.
Yeah, I'm gonna send Dame to Boston with Tatum. You're gonna get that leadership, that voice that we keep saying they missing, even though Al Horford is coming back there. But you got him, Jalen Brown, and Dame on the floor all at the same time. I mean, imagine that. Imagine the fact that, much like you just said about Dame, he's used to playing with somebody else that dominates the ball at times as well. So it's not a big issue as far as that go. But it's more about the leadership. That's kind of what I think, the voice. That guy who says, oh, I'll take this, don't worry. I got this. I'm going to handle this. Something that they've been missing for several years now.
And you think about it too, right? They've been trying to find that guy, Kyrie Irving, Kemba Walker. They've been trying to find that piece, that guard, that point guard that can score. And they've gone through a couple of them, and they haven't been able to get there. And maybe that would be another. It's funny how we're all going to Damian Lillard as the guy. He's going to show up with USA Basketball, and every star's to be like, "Hey, come to my city," right? Like he's the guy everybody feels like is the one. Instead of him saying to somebody on this list, "You should come to Portland," everybody else is trying to recruit him out of Portland. I'm going to stay away from Dame Lillard. I'm going to go with this but I'm going to stay in Boston because I actually think you had Bradley Beal to Tatum and Jalen Brown. I think that's special. That's a shooter that they need. I think they've got – I think when you have a guy like Tatum who's a high-usage player, ball's going to be in his hands a lot. Brown also is a playmaker and a scorer. Beal we know is a playmaker, and he's obviously one of the great scorers in the game today and a perimeter shooter that they need. I don't think you need a point guard who's a facilitator who's a ball-dominant player. I think you can get a point guard who's like a 3-and-D type. So if you add Beal with those three, how do you guard that? I mean, you could play Tatum at the 4, Jay. You could play Tatum at the 4. Talk about a matchup nightmare. A guy that you'd have to pull all your stretches. You'd have to pull your 4s out of the paint. That I think Bradley Beal going to Boston, and if I'm Tatum, and if I can't get Dame Lillard to come, then the next thing I'm going to do is go up to Bradley Beal and ask him if he'd be interested in coming to Boston.
Here's my only concern about that one, Alan. Is that because I've just seen this with Kemba and I've just seen this with Kyrie, dynamic guards that can score. And Bradley Beal, one of the best kind of combo guards there is in the league. But who makes the game easy for everybody in Boston? Like, that's been my struggle over the past several years of Boston. You have prolific scorers, Jason Tatum, all these guys can score. Kemba could score when he wasn't hurt. Kyrie can score. Bradley Beal would be able to score. But who is in crunch time making things easy for everybody? And not just like a facilitator, but a dual threat for Boston.
Yeah.
Like, that's a legit question.
You think those conversations are going to take place, though? Just like in general? Like, you think that there's going to be some conversation?
It's been revealed that they do this, that players do
yeah.
this. It's been revealed. They spend so much time together before the Olympics, during the Olympics. They spend a lot. So it's just natural that friendships that or again, relationships that you didn't really have, that maybe we were cool, but we didn't really know each other well, and then we spent all this time in the Olympics, and we really realized that, we got a lot in common.
But the guys
became really close, and say, hey, we should play together.
But the three guys that started all the conversation were all free agents.
LeBron and Wade.
Some of these guys are under contract.
Of course, yeah.
Right? So how does that conversation...
Well, but remember, that happened in 2008. They didn't become free agents until 10.
Well,
so these are things that you can plant.
Oh, they set it up. I see what you're saying. They set it up.
Seeds.
They set it 2 years in advance.
And then you say to yourself, like, you know what? I'm going to be a free agent in 2 years. Well, so am I.
Yeah, but Boston ain't got time to be waiting 2 years for no damn Dame. Dame, come on now. Right? I mean, nobody, Zach LaVine ain't got time to be waiting in Chicago 2 years.